All right, so my last CBO video got a bunch of comments of people getting a lot of value from it, but also asking for a CBO scaling video as a sort of part 2 to that video. And here I am with the video that you guys requested. Now this will be a little bit of a laid back video. I'm actually gonna just show you straight up in my ad account like what I'm doing to scale CBO campaigns. So thanks a lot for the suggestion, of course. And if you have any other video suggestions that you want me to make, of course, make sure you just drop them in the comments and drop a like on this video. But anyways, let's hop right into it. So as you can see, I'm in my business manager right now for one of my brands, the same brand actually that I showed the CBO video on. Now for this particular brand, one thing that is important to note from the beginning is that, you know, I'm not selling like really your typical dropshipping products. I am selling a lot more higher quality stuff, you know, like we actually have some custom products. We have some products in the US, not all of them, but most of them are in the US. And yeah, I put a big emphasis on actually finding high quality products to sell on this particular brand. Now that does play, in my opinion, that does play a difference in, you know, my profitability. As you can see, so far today, we've spent $260. And we've made back over $1,100, and you know it's only 1 o'clock today, so I'm sure we'll hit probably $2,000 today on this particular brand. And yeah, the ad spend is really low. Our customers are really happy, and yeah, everything is great. And let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video about how to actually find sort of, you know, higher quality products with a little bit faster shipping than usual, because this has played a big difference, like I said, in my stores in 2019, and I'm sure that you guys would get a lot out of it. So drop a like if you want that video. But right now, let's talk about the CBO strategy. So last time you saw that, you know, the way that I did CBOs is basically by doing about 5 to 10 interest ad sets within a CBO campaign at $50 per day or more. You could do $100 a day as well. But I also told you that right now the best way to actually start a campaign like that, to actually test with CBO, is by testing with a CBO, but then duplicating that CBO into regular ad set. Sorry, my cat's kind of crying over there. Into regular ad set level budget campaigns. Sorry, I said that super weird. But what I'm saying is to split test both CBO and the regular, you know, testing strategy that we've followed for a long time, right? Which is typically 10 ad sets, interest ad sets at $5 to $10 per day, targeting e-packet, and without engaged shoppers honestly works better nowadays. But I do test both, like I said. So what I do with that then is I judge, of course, if the CBO is doing great, you simply increase the budget, right? You wait a couple days. This is exactly what I do. If the CBO is doing great, I wait 2 days and then I increase the budget about 40%. If it's doing okay, then I just leave it alone. And if it's unprofitable, I decrease the budget about 20 to 40%. So for, let's say we're starting at $50 per day, you know, you have 5 ad sets in there. If the first day is amazing, you know, then I'll increase that budget for the second day to about, you know, $10 to about $75 a day. But if it did really bad, I actually wouldn't touch it if it's just the beginning. Just leave it alone for at least 3 days. You only want to mess with it if it does really well. You know, I only increase the budget if it's doing really well right off the bat. But I will say that the best way to actually scale CBOs is not by testing with CBOs. It's actually by putting in ad sets that are working really well into their own CBO campaigns. And this is exactly what I'm doing right now with this store. So as you can see, these are actually different products and different campaigns. This looks a little confusing. It's a little advanced. But what I'm doing here is basically testing with this particular audience. So this is my cold testing campaign. And yes, it's doing amazing. As you can see, I've been testing a lot of new creatives. And this has allowed me to be really profitable. And yeah, that's been a huge key in 2019, in my opinion. And it's something I've learned actually from my friend Gabe. If you see, I was actually watching his video that he just posted yesterday. Make sure you check that out. This guy is awesome. I honestly learned so much from him. And I'm glad that we're friends. But anyways, so I've been testing a lot of different creatives for this particular campaign, and it's just been performing really well. And then what I do is I simply get some of the best interest. So let's actually dive into this campaign. Sorry if a lot of this is blurred out. I just really don't want to leak my store. I might in the future once it actually turns into a huge brand. But right now, as you see, we're just trying to keep things consistent and profitable and get as many returning customers as possible. And I really don't want copycats. So yeah. But anyways, as you can see, we have a bunch of ad sets that are just doing amazing, right? They're performing incredibly well, and we have them ranging from $3 a day to about 10 to even some over here are a little bit higher budget. So what I'm doing here is basically taking groups of 5 interests into their own CBO campaign at $100 per day. So for example, let's say I take this ad set, So I'll take ones that have similar cost per purchase. And the reason you want to do that is just so that, I guess the bids are similar within there, because as you know, Facebook ads is auction based. So, if you see, for example, if this one was doing $10 cost per purchase and this one's doing $1, if we put them in a CBO, this one's most likely to perform better, but it would still spend some budget in this one, maybe, or maybe it would just be a waste to even have them in the same campaign in the first place. So this is why I like to look at ones that have similar cost per purchase. This isn't super important, but in my opinion, it can make a difference. So we'll take these ones that have under a $3 cost per purchase. So for this example, there's only 2 or 3, so that's fine. You don't have to do 5 or more ad sets in a CBO. You can do whatever you want. So what I would do is literally click duplicate here. So I would duplicate, I would go new campaign, and then I would type in CBO, we'll change this to cold interest. And this is all just to keep things organized. You don't have to, you don't have to name your things this way. This is just, like I said, something that you can do to keep your things organized. And then you would do duplicate. And of course, it would take you to this. Sorry, like I said, I gotta blur some of this stuff out. And let's see if we can find our campaign. So a lot of times, right now, for example, I can't find my campaign. So what I'll do is I'll just publish it and then edit it, because if you publish it, then it'll appear in all of your other campaigns and you can edit it a little bit easier. So let's do that right now, and then we'll see what's going on here. So now we go to our campaigns, and here we go. So we got our cold interest ad sets, blah, blah, blah. And what I'm gonna do now is actually edit it. And I'll see right here how it says campaign budget optimization. So once I see that, I'll click on, and I'll do $100 per day. So I like to start my scaling ad sets at $100 a day or more. Otherwise, there's really no point in scaling with a CBO. You might as well just scale within your campaign to a higher budget ad sets. And you can do that by duplicating. Obviously, I like to duplicate ad sets to a higher budget after they get 3 to 10 sales, profitable sales. Then I duplicate it to a higher budget. That's why I have a bunch of different budgets in that campaign. But yeah, so right now we do that, and then of course we would just simply publish it. And that's exactly what I've done over here. So as you can see, here's a campaign in which I did that, right? This is my first scale CBO. So this is the campaign. I took 3 of the best interests, or I don't know how many. Let me see. There's actually 4. So 4 of the best interests, and I plugged them into their own CBO campaign. And as you can see, these all have similar cost per purchase because, like I said, I chose ones that had similar cost per purchase, and they're all doing amazing, right? They're all doing really solid. They're all very consistent. And within these, I have 4 ads that performed amazingly. Now, what I would do here is that if I did see a decrease in performance in the future, I would start plugging in new ads in here rather than a lot of new ad sets. I like to actually mess around with plugging in new ads to see if Facebook will just like those better, or my audience likes those better. They might convert better, because as you can see for some of these, we're getting for this one, we're getting an 8% conversion rate, right? 47 page views, but 4 purchases. That's 8% conversion rate. So, this one's doing amazing, and this one's different than these 3, so that's good to know. But yeah, guys, that's basically how I like to scale with CBO. This is kind of a really basic strategy, but honestly, when it comes to CBO and scaling, there's really no certain rules. Like everybody does it a little bit differently. This is just what's been working really well for me recently, and what makes the most sense to me really. Of course, you know, for example, once I start testing in this campaign some lookalikes and stuff like that, then I would put those in their own separate CBO campaigns. You don't want to just do one CBO campaign with like 40 different ad sets. It just doesn't work as well, right? Like it's just not really effective for scaling, because it's going to spend just a little bit on each ad set, and you know, you're going to end up wasting more money than actually making money. Whereas with this one, since we only have 4 ad sets and a $100 budget, it actually spreads it out pretty well into ad sets that are proven to work well. So therefore we make more money and we have a higher ROAS. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to show you today. Of course, like you see, not all sales are getting tracked. This is just classic with Facebook. But you know what? It's not a big deal, because even with the tracked ones, we're still basically almost at a 4 ROAS, which is exactly where I want to be. Hopefully you got a lot out of this video, guys. I know this was like not super formal, but I've just been extremely busy building this brand, and you know, with the course as well, and a couple other brands that we're building on the side. So like I said, it's just been really tough to be consistent with YouTube, because I feel like I need to like make this an insane video. But honestly, I know a lot of times just a simple video like this, just kind of showing you things in practice, is actually a lot more valuable than otherwise. At least I get more value out of those type of videos. But of course, let me know in the comments if you have any sort of suggestions for future videos, stuff like that. I always read my comments. I always answer everything. So yeah, and make sure you drop a like for the value if you got some, and subscribe to the channel. Now, one last thing I want to say is that I am releasing the E-commerce Circle course in less than a week, which is really exciting. In there, I basically cover like literally all my strategies, and I hold nothing back just because it's like a more closed group of people. And it makes sense, of course. Now, if you are interested in the course, I do have a waitlist available. It'll be the first link in the description. If you're in the waitlist, the great thing about being on the waitlist is that you get notified when I release it. It's free to join the waitlist, and you'll get an actual special discount code for the release dates, which of course, if you're interested, then there's no reason to not be on the waitlist, because you'll be able to get in at a lower price. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to tell you guys. So, you know, for those of you that may be interested, make sure that you join the waitlist. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some value out of it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.